build the most trading skill in the least amount of time, you've come to the right place, and you'll want to pay attention over these next few minutes. We're going to show you a way that you can use two simple tools to rapidly improve your understanding of trading concepts and your skill at trading. The tools are simple. The first is to use a simulation platform. We'll show you how to do that. The second is to track your trades in a particular way. When you put these two together, it creates a powerful learning environment that you can use throughout your trading experience. Let's get started showing you how to use the trading simulation environment. Let's talk a little bit about why you should practice trading in a simulator. You need to build skill, and you need to do that in a controlled environment. Think of it like an airline pilot. It's not okay to just jump in a plane and put everybody at risk. You don't want to put your money at risk if you don't know what you're doing. Instead, you need to practice in an area where you won't lose money first. You can also do these sessions rapidly. You can learn quickly and correct your mistakes. This will allow you to get the most learning from your instructional sessions, whether you're working with a small group or one-on-one with an instructor. And last of all, perhaps the most important reason why you should practice trading in a simulator is to build confidence in your ability to trade this strategy, to know that you're going to get the outcomes you expect. Now here's how to do it right. The first thing you need to do is identify your rules for entry, identify your rules for exit, select indicators you'll use, begin practicing, and track your simulated trading results. Then discuss the results with your instructor. We're going to walk you through all of these steps right now. First, let's look at what it would take to do this using a high-quality simulation program. There are many stock simulations that you could use. We recommend this one, chartgame.com. It's a free site. This is the page you see when you show up. Just simply click on the Play Now button, and it'll ask you which one of these login methods you want to go with. And I'm going to choose an account I already have. And here we go. You're brought to this screen. Use the button that says Play Swing Trader Simulation. So we're going to click on that. These charts are actually built from historic data taken from one of the stocks in the S&P 500 over the past 20 years or so. You don't know what stock it is, and you don't know what time frame it is, and that helps you simulate real-time experiences where you don't know the future. Now, in order to do this right, we're going to need some rules. And I'm going to give you the entry rules and exit rules that you can work with to try to practice with this game. First, let's say that the price must be above a 40-day moving average in order to trade long. Second, we're going to use the stochastic indicator. It has two lines, a black line and a red line. The black line, we're going to say, has to dip and either touch or go below the 20 line. That's the setup. And then the final entry signal we need is that the stochastic must rise from that dip and cross its moving average, the red line. Once the black line crosses the red line, you can enter on the opening price of the next day on the chart. Let's show you how we could set that up. So here on Chart Game, there are indicators. In this tab, there's a tab that says Trades and one that says Indicators. We're going to select SMA, Simple Moving Average. We're going to change that to a 40 period if it's not there already. And that's going to give us a very long, reliable upward trending stock. And we're going to try to buy the dips in that upward trending stock. So to do that, we're going to come down to the fast stochastic. We'll select that, and we'll change the numbers to be 14 and 5. Now, if 14 and 5 are already typed in, great, but if not, then you just type them in there. Now, here's what we do. Right now, on this particular stock, we recognize that we're below that 40 period moving average. So we're not going to try to initiate any trade. Instead, we're just going to click the next bar button, and it's going to go on little by little, one day at a time, until we see that it actually works its way up above the 40 period moving average. And so far it's not. Now I can't fake this because this simulation environment is randomized for every use, and so you're seeing how this thing would actually work if you were to be trying to play it right now. And here we go, we're almost there. I'm going to keep going. Okay, now we're above, but now I need to see the stochastic dip down, so I'm not going to touch this. I'm going to wait until I see the stochastic come down. Okay, there, now it dipped and just touched the 20. It hasn't crossed over the red line. The black line is coming up. It has not crossed over the red line yet. And so I have to make certain that when it crosses, that price will be back up above the 40 period moving average. Otherwise, it's not a signal I want to get in on. And there it goes down. And what do we have next? They're just touching. We're not going to consider that a cross. And there, the red actually turns up, so it doesn't cross, and we're back to clicking away again. All right, now here, finally, we get what we need. This is a rapid move up by the black line. It crosses the red line, and the price crosses above the 40 period moving average. So we know now we can actually enter in on the opening price of the next bar. I'm going to click next bar, but I'm just going to make note to myself that the next, whatever the opening price is, I'm going to get in. So I click next bar, and in we go. Right now, I'm in. If I roll over this, then I can look up here in this area and see the data. And if I put my cursor right on that day, then I can see that the opening price was 57.71. That's the opening price that we got into the trade. I'm going to track that trade later, and I'll show you how to do it. But that is my entry price. Now, before we go on, I'm going to show you what the exit rules are. The exit rules are choosable, selectable. You've got to decide for yourself which ones you want to use. The simple way to do this is to set what's known as a bracket order. You're going to have a stop loss and you're going to have a profit-taking target. The stop loss is going to be the entry price minus the average true range, or the average true range times 1.5, or the average true range times 2. Now, somebody would naturally ask, well, which one's the best? Which one should I use? It's entirely a function of how long you want the trade to go. If you're a very quick trader and you think you want your trades to last just 2 to 5 days, you'd take the first one, entry price minus ATR. If you don't mind the idea of the trade's going a little longer and you want to catch a bigger trend if it comes along, say 2 to 3 weeks or maybe even a month, then you're going to choose entry price minus ATR times 1.5. If you're hoping to catch a very long upward trend of 3, 4 months or more, then you're going to start off with entry price minus ATR times 2 as the initial stop loss. Now the profit-taking target depends entirely on what you want to use in terms of your probability profile. Now by now, hopefully you've had a discussion with your instructor about probability profile, or you've listened to one of the recorded sessions where that's been the case. If not, then you're going to want to understand what the probability profile is all about. Here, we're just going to assume that you know what that is. You need to set your profit-taking target based on whether you want to have a high win rate with small, consistent wins, or a low win rate with larger wins. That's what the probability profile determines. So if you had a entry price minus ATR times 2, as an example, and your profit-taking target was just the entry price plus the ATR, then that would create a situation where your stop loss was twice as big as your profit-taking target. In effect, you'd be risking 2 to make 1, and that would give you a 67% win rate. So back on chart game, the thing to do is first add the ATR. So I'm going to select ATR, and you can use a 10 or 14 or 15 period. We're just going to go with the default here at 14 period. And what we do, this is the ATR indicator down below. It's just a line, and we only really care about the very end of the line. What is the value at the end of the line? And here we can see it's pointing right at about 1.5. And that's $1.50 is how we read it. So we recognize that we're going to get in the trade. We got in to open at 57.71, and we're going to set our stop loss at least $1.50 lower. And that's if we want to, make a very quick trade. Let's use the example where we're going to go with the manager, the office manager profile. We're going to risk 2 to make 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my stop loss at 150 times 2. That'll be $3 lower than my entry price. And I'm going to set my profit-taking target at $1.50 higher than what I see on the price. So we simply advance the chart 1 bar at a time. Click on next bar, and if we see that it comes down and hits one or the other, then we know what the result of our trade is. In this case, we started off going down low, and we're almost there, 54.17. I'm going to roll over and look at the low price, see if it's below 54.17. It's 54.52, still got a little ways to go. And low is 53.18. So I didn't luck out, I got stopped out of that trade. So I record that in the spreadsheet, and I move on to the next trade. Alright, here's a situation where we're coming up on the potential for a new entry signal. And so we recognize we've got the stochastic dipping down below and the red line coming above. We're going to watch for this crossover. Price is so far above the 40-day moving average. We're going to hope it stays there. We'll see what we get. Looks like we get the very beginnings of the cross right there. So we could take the very next day as the opening of our trade. We recognize it's going to be around 2014. We see that the ATR is about at $1. So we'd just set our stop loss $2 lower. That'd be 27.14, somewhere around right here. And our profit-taking target $1 higher at about $30.14, just somewhere right around right there. So let's see what we get. Well, that worked out really well. We opened up and got in at a price of $29.28, and it ran right up and gave us $1 in profit on the first day. So we took a quick profit just by getting in. Now let's suppose we were slow to the party, and this is the day that we saw as the signal. We didn't take that minuscule cross. We just jumped. We waited, and then that's fine. We can take the opening of the next day and create the same setup. $2 lower, $1 higher. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're in the opening of that day at $30.73. 28.73 is our stop loss. 31.73 is our profit-taking target. Let's see how it plays out. Well, it worked that day too. I didn't know that was going to happen. This is just playing it live, but this gives you just a quick idea of how these trades could go. And I would then capture and record them. We're going to give you an example of how to do that, but this is the general way that you play the chart game. You're following these rules and simply going through it. In this section of the video, we'll look at how you track trades that you're using in the simulation and why it's important to do so. To begin with, let's look at why you should track your trades. First, you need to be certain that your trading fits the probability profile you're working towards. Second, you want to identify results in your tracking that seem unusual so you can discuss them with your instructor. And third, you'll be able to learn and improve on your expectancy number. We'll explain what that means as we go through the tracking. The last reason why you should track your trades is to increase your confidence to be able to trade your system and to know that your system is going to perform the way you expect it to when you take it live with real money. Tracking is done with this simple spreadsheet. What we do here is we just recognize that the spreadsheet is designed in such a way that anything that is in yellow color, that's where you're going to enter data. Anything that is white is going to get calculated for you. So when we put in a trade, we would put in the entry price, the stop price, and the target price, and then when we finally got out, we would specify what our exit price was. We would type these into the presentation. Now, let's actually walk through the process of putting on these trades with the simulator going and see how it plays out. So here we have a chart that now has another signal opportunity. We're looking here to see, of course, the black line rising up has not yet crossed the red line. Price is still above the 40-day moving average. I'm going to hit next bar, and hopefully we get into this trade signal. Well, not yet. We're going to go another one. And there. This is now our signal. We are still above the 40-day moving average, and we have everything we need to set up. So we see down here that the average true range is right between $1.50 and $2, so it's $1.75. So that helps us figure out where our stop loss is going to be. We're going to put in our entry price once we hit next bar, and we're going to take the opening price of that day, and the stop price, we're going to put 2 times the ATR, so that'll be $1.75 times 2. We'll just make this $3.50 lower, and our target price will be $1.75 higher. So let's figure out how that works. I'm going to click on next bar, and there it is. We got in the opening of that day, so I'm going to roll over the candle and look up to the upper right. Price is $74.48, $74.49, we'll round up to there. So I'm going to type that in, $74.49. Now my stop price I decided was going to be $3.50 lower. You can see that that's pretty close to $71. So $71.01 actually. Well, actually no, I guess it's $70.99. Right, that's $3.50 lower. Okay. Now the target price is $1.75 higher, so that is going to be $76.24. Now I've got everything all set up. I've done this. I've typed these numbers into the spreadsheet before continuing on the chart game. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on next bar to see what happens first. Which one of those amounts do I hit first? So 76.25, I'm going to roll over this and see what the high was. The high of that day was 76.86. And my target price was 76.24. So I got out at 76.24. That's a winning trade right there because I got out at my target price instead of my stop price. I'm going to go on and see if I can find another entry signal. So here's another signal, and I'm just crossing on this day. So tomorrow will be the entry. I'm going to go ahead and type it into my spreadsheet to set all that up. I recognize that this is trade number 2, and entry price will be whatever I get in tomorrow, and the stop price, I'm going to look for the average true range, looks to be about 65 cents. I'm going to double that, so it's going to be $1.30 lower and 65 cents higher. So we're going to hit next bar and see what our entry price is. There's the next bar, so now I can tell that the day I'm getting in is right there, high, or the price I'm getting in on this next day is that open 51.93. So I type in 51.93. The stop loss is $1.30 lower, so that's going to be $50.63. And my target price is 52. 58. And it's just that simple. I just keep going through this. Now I'm going to see which one I get to exit at. Now I came down that day. It didn't stop me out. So we'll click on next bar. And this is an up day, so we'll keep going. And the high that day is 52.12. Not high enough. It needs to be 52.50. And there we go. That day takes me out. So another winning trade I get to put in here at 52.58. Now, there are a lot of other rules that I could use. I could make new rules about where to set my profits or how to adjust each day. Those are all nuances that you can discuss with your instructor. There are lots of different ways to play this game, and there are lots of different rule sets that you can use. But it's important to keep the same rule set for a whole batch of about 30 trades, because then you get better results. One of the things that you can do is when you're all done with all 30 trades, you can come down to the bottom of this spreadsheet and look at this expectancy number. The expectancy number tells you whether or not you can expect to actually do some good trading. If you can do this kind of trading that you can do in the simulation, you know you're not going to crash your account, right? Airplane analogy, not going to crash that plane. Well, what you're looking for is to have an expectancy number above 0.2. If you've got it above 0.2 and you can consistently keep it above that, you have a good expectation you are going to have good trading results. So in summary, what we do when we amplify our learning is to use a quality simulation environment. We recommend chartgame.com. It's important that as you're going through, don't cheat your trades. You want to identify your rules and then follow them. Follow them for 30 trades in a batch, and track all of those trades in the spreadsheet, and then discuss the results with your instructor to see ways that you are learning and ways that you can further improve. We wish you success as you go through this, and feel confident that you can follow in the tracks of hundreds of students before you who have done this and greatly increased their understanding and proficiency and profitability in trading. Thanks very much.